The city of Toronto proper actually does have a number of beaches. The beaches on the Toronto Islands come to mind, and Woodbine Beach would probably be the best known, and they're very actually beautiful sandy beaches. They are on Lake Ontario though, which is doubtful. I mean, the water quality varies. It's a big lake and has been used for industry a lot, but there is a lake very close to Toronto called Lake Simcoe, which actually has many beaches on it, and it is a quite large lake, and it's fairly close to Toronto. So the city of Barrie is the largest city on Lake Simcoe. Aurelia, Georgina is also on Lake Simcoe. So again, it's a large lake. It's something like 30 kilometers by 25 kilometers, and essentially the whole lake is surrounded by beaches. Now, some of them are kind of like the beach behind me, a bit of sand, kind of rocky. People use it for windsurfing or sunbathing, but there are also like phenomenal kind of sandy type of beaches in parts of Lake Simcoe. So if you're looking for a beach to kind of do a day trip from Toronto, Lake Simcoe has many beaches, and depending on where you are in Toronto and where you go on Lake Simcoe, you're looking at an hour and a half ish from Toronto, either the 400 northbound or the 404 northbound, depending on where you are. Or you could potentially take the GO train to Barrie, which goes a number of times a day if you don't want to drive. So where I am today is called Clarendon Beach Park, and it's in Georgina. And Georgina is kind of like made up of smaller towns. So Keswick, Pefferlaw, Jackson's Point. There's a few towns in Georgina. This particular one is really one of the most southern, so closest to Toronto beaches. And again, it's not super sandy beach, but it depends what you're looking for. There's actually a lot of people here windsurfing, and if you're looking for a sandy beach on Lake Simcoe, there are tons of them. This particular one is small little beach, but it has free parking, and it is kind of really close to Toronto. So straight up the 404 until it ends, exit at Ravenshoe Road, which is your last kind of exit, and then you're like 10 to 15 minutes to this beach. So it is kind of really close. So depending on what you're looking for, if you're looking for proximity, this might be one of the closest ones, but again, there's got to be dozens and dozens of beaches on Lake Simcoe, and they really vary from sandy to rocky to small. This one has a playground and picnic tables. It really kind of varies a lot. Beautiful lake though, and I'm sure probably a fair bit cleaner than Lake Ontario. It's mostly just small towns on Lake Simcoe. opposed to Lake Ontario, which is has Canada's biggest city on. A lot of fishing on Lake Simcoe as well, so if you're actually doing the looking to do some fishing, Lake Simcoe is phenomenal for fishing, boating as well. Really, hour and a half to Toronto, you have a really phenomenal lake that has every type of activity that you can imagine that a lake would have. It's actually really amazing the abundance of lakes and beaches that actually are close to Toronto and in the province of Ontario as a whole. So Lake Simcoe behind me is a great example, one of the nicest. I did a bit of research, as I usually do, before I come to shoot a video, and Lake Simcoe is the 4th largest lake in Ontario that's wholly in Ontario. So Lake Ontario and some of the other Great Lakes are also in the United States, but Lake Simcoe is only in Ontario. But I've also recently done videos about Sauble Beach, which is potentially my favorite beach in Ontario and maybe Canada, and then Wasaga Beach, which is the longest freshwater beach in the world. Sauble Beach is the 2nd longest freshwater beach in the world. So all this unbelievable abundance of nature and beautiful lakes and beaches are all in Ontario, all really within, you know, a half day or less drive from Canada's largest city, which is Toronto. But this particular one is really close. I mean, where I'm standing or sitting right now is you're like an hour to downtown Toronto. Interesting around this lake too, you can see, I mean, all the trees. Got a nice shade tree right beside me here, but it's very green around this lake. So there is lots of shade if you want it, and then there's sunshine if you want it, and there's beautiful fresh water. It's amazing the abundance of beautiful nature in Ontario and in all of Canada, really, of course. And you appreciate it, at least I do, in the summer. The winter, everything's frozen. Some people do love that though. I have friends whose favorite time of the year is the winter. I don't understand that personally at all, but they love to go snowmobiling and ice fishing, and I like snowboarding, but I'd rather be on a beach. So this little parkette was like 3-4 minutes down the road from the first location I was at, Joy Merritt Parkette, and here there's actually no parking like anywhere, so I just wanted to jump out, take a peek, and grab a little bit of footage and really just show the incredible amount of different kind of terrain and things you can do on Lake Simcoe. So here, I mean, while you can swim, obviously this isn't like Wasaga Beach or Sauble Beach or, you know, any of those super beautiful sandy beaches, but if that's what you're looking for, Lake Simcoe does have tons of that. The one that comes to mind if you're looking for a real nice sandy beach is Innisfil. So Google beaches in Innisfil on Lake Simcoe, and there's, you know, like a real big kind of sandy beach if that's what you're looking for. But I wanted to show in this video kind of some of the other sides to Lake Simcoe, because here is just beautiful to come and you know, chill out for a picnic or a few hours or an afternoon or whatever. There's lots of shade, and so bring your own chairs, or there are picnic tables and benches in a lot of these places. But yeah, Lake Simcoe, phenomenal lake, really close to Toronto. And if you're looking for that busy sandy beach, Wasaga Beach type of feel, they do have that. If you want a small park, they do have that. If you want a boat, swim, fish, I mean, all of this is like hour and a half to Toronto on this stunning lake. Yet another gem in Ontario. Here's another little park and access to Lake Simcoe. This one also is like 5 minutes from the other two. Little playground. And yeah, it's not 14 kilometers of sandy beach like Wasaga Beach, or 11 kilometers of sandy beach like Sauble Beach, but it is most certainly a beautiful lake. You got somebody just chilling out there. Pontoon boat. So really in this video I wanted to show, if you are in Toronto and you're looking for a day trip to a beautiful lake, Lake Simcoe, again, it's like an hour and a half away, and has pretty much, not pretty much, it has every single lake activity that you could ask for. Boating, fishing, swimming, sandy beaches, shade, everything. And what I've been showing is the southeast part of the lake, so probably the closest part to Toronto. Then Barrie would be the northwest side of the lake, and Innisfil kind of similar. Then Aurelia around the other side, the northeast side of the lake. So you've got a lot of different options. And just another beautiful little park you can go to on Lake Simcoe for your day trip out of downtown Toronto. There's a jet ski going by.